Hi, I created some additional information, four additional videos here for you, based on some of the comments that I had during session one, and to help clarify some of the things that we went over in point and figure charting. I really do want to make sure that you get this information as clearly as possible, and so that there's not a lot of confusion there, because that doesn't help you, and frankly, I would feel like I would be missing the mark if it's not clear to everyone. Okay, so what I want to cover, I've got four separate videos that you're going to find in your members area for point and figure charting. And so the first thing I want to go over is why we use intraday swings versus daily highs and lows to build point and figure charts. Seemed to be a lot of confusion about this. Are we using a daily chart to construct a 1 point? Is that a 1 point figure chart? Or why are you using 60-minute and so on and so forth? So I want to make sure that you're clear on this. And so I put a video together to explain why. And I'll show you exactly why we will use data from an hourly chart and capturing the hourly swings, and how that's much more accurate and much more effective in doing point and figure charting than if we just relied on daily highs and lows. You can certainly do that, but as you're going to see, the accuracy, the extent of the horizontal formations and the accuracy and the projections just aren't there when you use daily highs and lows. Okay, so that's the first video, and I would encourage you to watch it if you're at all confused with that. Second video is I'm going to walk through constructing a point and figure chart, starting show you exactly how it's done, day by day for over a month's worth of data, and we're going to use a stock in this. We're going to construct a 1 point figure chart. That's a 1 point box size with a 1 point reversal, the standard Wyckoff point and figure chart. And I'll show you as we look at the data coming in. We're not even going to look at charts, because I guess I confused you on that, and I didn't mean to do that for some of you. So we're just going to look at the swing data off of the hourly swings, and I'm going to plot that as figures on a 1 point figure chart, and you'll see exactly how it's done. And there should be no more confusion or questions about how you construct a point and figure chart and why you do the things that you do. Okay. Third video I have done here, excuse me, is a video on the Wyckoff terms and concepts. I understand that there are a number of people here who are not as familiar or maybe not as skilled in the Wyckoff approach to the markets as some other folks are. Some folks in here are experts. So I want to, in the Wyckoff method, so I want to just, for those folks who are not that familiar with Wyckoff, and even if you are familiar, it wouldn't probably hurt you to review this video. But I'm going to go over the terms that we use, which I think that, especially for you who are not, for those of you who are not that familiar with Wyckoff, when I go through the terms, you're going to see that these really most of them relate to assessing supply and demand in the market, and that is a vital ability and skill in trading that I think you're going to want to try to acquire. So we'll look at things like shortening of the thrust. We'll talk about hypodermics. We'll look at the Wyckoff story, springs and up thrusts, testing, signs of strength, signs of weakness, those kinds of terms and concepts that we talked about in session one, and we're going to continue to talk about in session two. And hopefully I'll give you some better definitions of them than I did in session one, and add some flesh, so to speak, to the skeleton that we created in session one. And then finally, a couple of people said, well, how does this apply to intraday trading? How do you do point and figure charts with intraday trading? So I've looked at the last week of the S&P E-mini, and that's the ES symbol, and I've shown you how to use point and figure charts on the intraday time frame, as if we were day trading the S&Ps, what we would be looking for, we would be assessing that market as the point and figure chart evolved, and where we would take counts, where we might take trades, and also, by the way, showing you two things. One, that the same principles that we used in the Apple chart, working through Apple for two years or so, the exact same principles, the exact same techniques, the exact same method is applied to the intraday chart. You're going to see that they are identical. In fact, there are no change. There's no additional stuff that occurs because we're trading intraday rather than swing trading, or there's no additional stuff in swing trading when we're compared to intraday trading. Stuff meaning technique or method. They're identical, and you'll see that. The second thing I want to point out is that the Wyckoff terms and concepts, I go into a little more detail, perhaps, on the intraday S&P chart, showing you things like shortening of the thrust and talking a little bit more about the Wyckoff story and what that means. People were thinking, some folks had said that, boy, these point and figure chart counts can be really subjective. Well, yeah, they can be if you're just doing it willy-nilly and not having any kind of method to your approach. You have to have a process and a method, and that is all about building a Wyckoff story. So I show you how to do that in a couple of instances in the intraday trading with point and figure charts, not just in taking trades but also getting out of them as well. I think all of this kind of hangs together, and I hope that you're going to find this material both clarifying and of value. If you have questions, of course, as I said in session 1, send them to me by Sunday noon time, Eastern time. And send me any comments that you have on these additional materials or on session 1. I'm keenly interested to hear your comments, and I'm keenly interested in trying to convey this material as accurately and as clearly as I possibly can, because it's really good stuff, really good material. And I also want to thank Rama for taking the time and sending Helen and I quite a detailed email about session 1, and in fact, all of this material, these additional charts here, the 4 additional videos, are all coming from comments that Rama had. So Rama, thank you very much for doing that. It certainly helps me in conveying this information. And I'm sure that everybody out there who is a co-member of this course with you are appreciative of that as well. And I'm sure that they would thank you. But I certainly thank you. Okay, everybody, enjoy these next 4 videos, and I will see you Tuesday night at session 2.